The number one thing that has been holding me back the most in the past, not anymore, but this was the thing that was holding me back the most, and I didn't grow in life until I took care of this one thing, until I conquered this one challenge. But let me break down exactly what it is. So look, right? Most people think it's their ego that holds them back. They think it's their situation, their genetics, where they're born into, where they live. None of that matters. They think their body is holding them back. They think all the external things are holding them back. But this is not what's holding you back. This is not what's holding you back, right? When I was a kid, when I was like fucking 6, 7 years old, I remember I would have nightmares every single night. Well, not every single night, but every single night my face was facing the wall. I would have nightmares, and they were like scary ass nightmares. So what I would do is I would wake up in the middle of the night shitting myself, and then in the pitch black of the night, I would open the door of my room and I would run to my parents' room because I didn't want to be by myself because I was so afraid. I was so afraid. So boom, I would go to my parents' room and then I would go in between them in the bed, and then I would basically just sleep. I remember I would always like hug my mom like this, like put my arm around her, and then I would just sleep like that. And it comforted me. Like it made me feel good that I'm with my parents, because your parents as a kid, they're kind of your rock. They keep you together, and like without them, I was super emotionally unstable. And it didn't matter what it was. I was fearful of being by myself, you know? And I would always want to attach myself to my parents. I remember when my dad, he dropped me off one time at these art lessons that I had. I had them every single Saturday. He would drop me off, and I remember the first time I literally bursted out crying because I was like, fuck. Like, I don't want to be by myself. And my dad just left me, and I'm literally begging him. Like, I'm 7, 8 years old. By this time, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm literally begging him, like, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. And I'm making a huge scene. And I feel like I've just always had that, where I always got attached really quickly. Like, I always just didn't want to leave. Like, I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of being by myself. And you know, this even carried on until my sophomore year of high school. But boom, I remember my 6th grade, my 6th grade year, my first year of middle school. I didn't know anybody. In my first day of class, I was shaking, and I was so afraid. And like, I was so afraid because I was so lonely and I didn't know anybody. But then in my sophomore year of high school, the same exact thing. I didn't know anybody in the school. And what I would do is that instead of, what I would do is that I would just try to have as many friends as possible, and that's what I did. Like, I had a lot of friends, but they weren't good friends. Like, they weren't people who would do anything for me. They weren't people who genuinely wanted to see me win. They were just friends just to have friends. They were just friends to fill that fear that I just didn't want to be by myself. So I would be friends with a bunch of people, and sophomore year, I knew a lot of people. But if you guys knew me my sophomore year, that's when I had the most social anxiety. That's when I was basically the most pussiest version of myself, right? It's like, I was extremely skinny. This is before I started working out, and you know, I would constantly try to adhere to what other people wanted. I would constantly try to say what they wanted me to say, and I wasn't being true to myself. You know, I would try my best not to offend anybody. I wouldn't say my raw opinions. I wouldn't state how I truly feel. And the truth is, I felt like a victim. I felt like a victim at this time because I knew that I was basically a pussy. I was a pussy because I was afraid. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of being alone, and that was the root of it. Me being afraid of being alone made me be friends with people that weren't benefiting me at all. These weren't people that were like my real friends. They weren't my real friends. You know what I mean? There's still a few of them that I'm still friends with to this day, but the other 90% of them, it's like, dog. Actually, no, there's literally only one person from my high school that I'm still friends with. That's it. Only one person. Everyone else, it was pointless. Like, a lot of these relationships, a lot of these friendships, they're vanity. Their vanity. Most of the time, we're literally just shitting on each other, arguing with each other for no reason, making fun of each other for no reason, doing shit for no reason. Like, and it was all stemmed from me not wanting to be by myself. But a man who is able to be alone, be by himself, and he's able to conquer that fear of being alone, that is a man that's actually genuinely unstoppable. Because growing up, that is one of the biggest things that holds us back. The biggest thing that holds us back is that we are afraid of being alone. And then you see these guys who get into these relationships and they settle for a woman that they know is not the right one for them. They know this is not the right woman for them. And they settle, they stay in the relationship that is draining their energy, killing them, holding them back from the potential that they truly can fulfill. But the number one thing is that they're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being by themselves, when they are actually avoiding the fact that when they are by themselves is when they grow the most. When you are by yourself, you grow the most. In order to reach the highest heights, you need to reach rock bottom. You need to be by yourself. You need to understand how to conquer your feelings, your emotions when you're alone. Because guess what? When we fail, when we stumble, 90% of the time, it's when we're alone. Think about it. When people beat their meat, they always do it when they're alone. When people do things they're not proud of, they do it when they're alone, right? So they don't keep themselves accountable when they're alone. And that is exactly why a man who is able to conquer his loneliness and actually have that discipline to go against his feelings when he's alone and keep himself accountable when nobody else is there watching, right? A man who's able to do that, and he's able to conquer his loneliness, that is a man who's gonna make it far. That is somebody who's exceptional, right? And I'm not human. There's days where, you know, I might struggle with these certain emotions, and like even yesterday, for example, I had a very strong emotion of lust. Like I wanted, like it was just very strong, and I was working, and I'm like, damn, like the emotion comes and you're like, fuck, like it's not easy, but I understand that this is what it feels like to win. This is what it feels like to conquer yourself. Because once you're able to conquer yourself, conquer your emotions, conquer your feelings, guess what? That leads to a side of you that you didn't even know was possible, right? Like, for example, you guys, me recording this video, if I didn't have this physique right here, do you think I would even be making this video in the first place? No. Imagine a skinny ass kid, right, with man titties and skinny fat. Do you think you would actually listen to what he had to say and be like, damn, bro, like, let's be real? No, you wouldn't, because results are very loud. You cannot speak on something that you are not qualified to speak on. And I'm speaking on this, on conquering yourself and being lonely, because the past 6 months have been the loneliest 6 months of my whole entire life. That's why I'm speaking on this, because I'm qualified to speak on this. I've been waking up at 5 a.m. You know how lonely it is to wake up at 5 a.m. at my age? No one else is doing that, but it's beautiful. I love the silence. I love the calmness. I feel like I'm getting ahead of everyone, and I'm being lonely, but that loneliness makes me feel better, because I'm like, damn, let's go. I'm passing all my competition. I'm beating everyone else, and I'm getting one step closer every single day. I don't remember the last time I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. I honestly don't. And it's lonely. It's lonely. But loneliness is what elevates you, right? I wake up at 5 a.m. I take my cold shower. Well, first I do my 100 push-ups, then I take my cold shower, do all these things, and I'm basically setting the path. I'm setting the road for my own life, right? A lot of people just accept the road that was given to them instead of creating their own road, creating the own path that they want their life to go on. And the truth is, of course it's lonely. Of course, to be exceptional, it is lonely. Of course, to create your own path, it is lonely, because you're creating your own path. You're not just following what everyone else is doing. That isn't lonely, because you have millions of other people who are doing the exact same thing as you. But when you're creating your own path, it's easy to look at everyone else and be like, damn, that seems so much easier. That seems so much But the truth is, what is easy, people don't value. So it's like you're on the path of difficulty, you're on the path of exception, and then you look at the people who literally just don't care about being exceptional, and that's fine. Not everyone has to be exceptional, but there's certain people who just accept being losers. That's the truth. There's certain people who accept wasting their potential. There's so many guys I've seen who have more potential than me. They're more talented than me, yet they're so lazy. Yet they're afraid of being alone. Yet they're afraid of thinking outside the box. They're afraid of dedicating themselves towards one thing and just locking in on that one thing. But what do they want to do, right? They want to watch TV shows to comfort them because they don't want to sit alone in their thoughts. They want to watch movies to comfort them. They want to hang out with their girlfriend to comfort them, even though they haven't accomplished anything, even though they're out of shape, bro. And it's like, I hate to say this, I honestly hate to say this, but if your girl would date somebody like you, look, let me phrase it like this. If your girl would date an out of shape, broke, fat person who has no ambition, and I'm not saying that's you guys, but I'm saying there's a lot of guys out there who they'll date these certain girls when they are basically living their life at 5%. But think about it, if she would date somebody who isn't impressive at all, somebody who's out of shape, somebody who doesn't, and it's not even about what you have, or it's not about how much money is in your bank account, but it's about, do you have the ambition? Do you have the drive? Do you wake up early? Do you push yourself to get out of that situation? Because like, there's a difference between fat and not doing anything about it. There's a difference between being fat and actually putting in the work to get out of that situation. So when I tell you guys like, oh, would she date a fat, like when I talk about fat people, I'm talking about the people who just give up, the people who aren't doing anything, the people who don't have any ambition to get out of that situation, right? So if she would date that guy, that fat guy who doesn't care, that guy who just settles in everything, that guy who just sits down, watches movies on his couch, think about it, you're in competition with 99% of the world, because you are not different than anybody, right? You are not different than anybody, so she would basically be with anyone. So if she would date anyone, then it doesn't matter who she dates. Like, there's no value with that. The only value you get from being with the girl is knowing that she has high standards, that she does not just give herself to everybody, that she is actually a respectable woman. And then when you respect yourself, right, when you have higher standards for yourself, guess what? Your partner reflects that. You attract a better partner. You attract a better partner. You have kids with her. You're gonna have better kids because they're gonna follow her example, right? You cannot teach a daughter how to be a woman. The wife has to do that. As a man, you teach your son how to be a man, right? But I can't teach a daughter how to be a daughter because I'm not a fucking girl, right? I only talk about things that I have authority on. Obviously, when I have my daughter, I would tell her certain things that I know are good for her life. But the truth is, she is going to follow the example of her mother. That is the honest truth. That is the honest truth, because people don't listen to what people say. They listen to the example. So on my IG, on my stories, when I post me waking up at 5 a.m. every single day, it's different for me to tell someone, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. And it's different for you to show them. It's different for you to show them, because when you show them, it brings a different side out of them. And then they realize that I am no better than them, because that is the honest truth. I am no better than anyone watching this video. The only difference about me is, despite the fears, despite the doubts, despite the insecurities, despite everything telling me to stay the same and to keep being fucking average, despite all of those emotions, because we all think the same exact emotions, I fought past that. I built a structure and I followed upon it. Even though it was uncomfortable, I kept doing it, and I saw the growth, and I got addicted to the internal growth. I got addicted to the internal growth. You guys have seen me grow for the past 6 months, right? You've seen me grow for the past 6 months, and in the next 6 months from now, you're gonna see me grow even more. You're gonna see me grow even more, and that is the most precious. That is the most precious and beautiful thing about life. The fact that we have the opportunity to grow. The fact that we have the opportunity to get better. The fact that we have the opportunity to even be lonely, right? Because I noticed that the more lonely I got, the closer to God I got. The closer to God I got. Let me make sure the lighting is... Damn, the lighting is terrible. Oh wait, let me move my car real quick. I'm just gonna move it back a little bit. But boys, the more lonely I got, the closer to God I got, the more I started reading my word, the more I started prioritizing my relationship with God. And that is the most important thing that I think God was trying to teach me. He was trying to teach me that the truth is I am nothing without him, right? So I had to humble myself, and I had to understand that I am nothing without God, truthfully. And I can gain everything. I can gain whatever it is, but the truth is without God, it's vanity. Without God, it's pointless. And that is exactly why I read the Bible every single day. That is exactly why I pray every single day. That is exactly why I humble myself and I tell God, I am your servant. Make your plan be known to me. Give me the ability to discern what decisions are the right ones for me, and let me serve the life that you want me to live, right? But when you pray for these certain things, you also need to put in the work. I see too many guys who pray, but they don't put in any work. They don't put in any work. Bro, we are commanded to serve others. We are commanded to give as much as possible. We are commanded to sacrifice ourselves so we can better others. Most people don't understand how important and how many people their life genuinely impacts, because you're gonna have a family one day, right? And also you have the potential to inspire others through your story. Why aren't you telling your story? Why aren't you documenting your story? Why aren't you being uncomfortable so that you can help out somebody else and actually show them, bro, you can do the exact same thing. You can do the exact same thing. But it all starts with you being lonely. It all starts with you choosing the path of being exceptional. Because if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, that is the path that you genuinely want. That is the path that you know is for you. That is the path that you know you have the potential to have. Because not many people ingest things that actually benefit them. A lot of people just watch brain rot content and fucking scroll on TikTok and watch phase rug and fucking bullshit ass videos, and they don't actually watch videos that actually have knowledge that's gonna help them. They don't watch videos that fucking help them overcome a certain challenge that they're doing. And that's all I do, right? You guys see me creating this content, but before I started creating content, what do you think I was doing? Consuming it. I was consuming content on how to have a better mindset, how to think better, how to actually be more productive, how to schedule my days. Like, I was watching content from people I wanted to be like that actually had results on things that I wanted, right? If I wanted to get in shape, I was listening to people who were in shape, and I was like, damn, okay, he's saying this, he's saying that. When I saw people who were disciplined, who overcame their self-doubts, who overcame their emotions, I'm like, damn, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that. And that is the most special thing. The most special thing is that we don't have to, look, you have to be lonely, but at the same time, you don't have to be lonely, right? Like, and the reason why I say I'm lonely is because a lot of people just don't understand me. A lot of people don't understand why I say certain things. They don't understand what I do. And a lot of people just shit on me behind my back. You know, I have family members that shit on me, right? I have people I know that shit on me. It's like, but the truth is, if people aren't hating on you, if people aren't shitting on you, that honestly just means that your opinions, first of all, are not strong enough. Because think about it, right? I choose my side. I choose my side, and the other side, my bad. Think about it. When you choose one side, because a lot of people want to play both sides, they want to be in the middle, but the truth is I can't do that. I can't do that because my loyalty is on one side. I'm so loyal to this one side that I literally, obviously, the people on the other one are gonna hate me. Obviously, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't hold any resentment, and I don't get mad at it. I just see it the way it is. And the truth is, when you're lonely, when you're doing something a lot of people aren't willing to do, the 99% of people are gonna look at you and point fun at you. They're gonna laugh at you, because the truth is, they're insecure. They're insecure. Because I used to be a part of those 99%, because I know exactly how they think. I know them better than they know themselves, because that used to be me. That used to be me. I would see other people who are doing things that I knew I couldn't do. I would see other people who are winning in things that I would disqualify myself from at first. I was seeing other people who were dedicated at what they were doing with, right? I would see other people who were just better than me at certain things. And then what I would do is that instantly my brain would just start hating. My brain would start pointing out like, oh, he said that. Oh, he's so dumb. Oh, look at that shirt he's wearing. Oh, look at that. Oh, bro, look at that. Like my brain would instantly start trying to hate on him because my ego doesn't like validating other people, right? Our ego limits us a lot, right? Our ego limits us so much. And when I was a part of that 99%, my ego would just go to the front and be like, oh, this, that, even though he's doing better than it, even though he has this, that. So it would just try to find problems, right? It would try to just hate on him. It would try to poke fun of him to make myself feel better, And then the biggest thing that I realized, I'm like, damn, why am I doing this? Why am I so negative? Why do I constantly disqualify myself? Why do I say I can't do this? Why do I say I don't deserve that? Why do I say I cannot achieve that certain thing? Why? If I haven't even tried. If I haven't even truly tried. These past 6 months, I've honestly realized what it really looks like to truly try. Because every single other thing I started before Max Out Fitness Coaching, it failed. Everything failed. Everything. I started trading stocks. It failed. And I'm glad it traded stocks because I didn't deserve to win in that. I didn't deserve to win because I wasn't changing any lives. I think God rewards us by the more that we give, right? And I wasn't giving anything trading stocks. I was just watching a chart go up and down, and it was basically like gambling because I wasn't even trying to learn anything. It wasn't bettering myself. I wasn't learning discipline. I wasn't learning skills that were actually important. I was just doing it, just for the money, right? And I'm glad that I lost all that money because it taught me a valuable thing. It taught me that the more that you chase something, the more it runs away from you. The more you chase something, the more it'll run away from you. And, my stocks failed. I tried multiple drop shipping stores. They all failed. I tried a bunch of different businesses, right? They all failed. And it was because it wasn't anything I was genuinely passionate about. It wasn't anything that I was an expert about, right? I wasn't an expert about it. And then I realized, I'm like, damn, and then I asked myself, I'm like, yo, what am I expert at already? What am I expert at? And the biggest thing was just fitness. I had a better physique than 99% of people at my age. And I don't even want to say that in an egotistical way. I'm just trying to point out the facts. You know what I mean? There's still a lot of people who have a better physique than me, but at the same time, I still have a pretty good physique. And I was like, damn, I'm an expert at this. And then I realized there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of people who need my help. There's a lot of people that I can genuinely change their lives, but it's up to me if I'm going to do the work necessary so that I can reach those people. It's on me if I'm going to do the work necessary so I can be able to impact their lives as much as possible, which is exactly why literally 3 to 5 hours a day, all I'm doing is building my systems in my program, making my program as good as possible, giving as much as possible. Every single ounce of value and information I can give for my clients so that they can see the best results possible, I'm going to do it. And I realize the more that I give, 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 the more that I will receive. That's it. The more that I will receive. And this applies with anything in life. Even with my gym progress, the more that I give into the gym, the more I go to failure, the more I progressively overload, the more that I sacrifice, the better results I'm going to see. That is why it is so important. It's so valuable to give as much as possible. Do not ask for anything. I do not ask permission. I do not ask for anything. I merely just give as much as possible. I just give as much as possible, and I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm not afraid of being by myself because truthfully, leaders are not born, they're built. So when you actually want to become a leader, it comes with you being lonely. You cannot rely on anybody else except for yourself. You have to be your own rock, right? But me personally, God is my rock, right? God is my foundation, right? But here, no. God is my rock. God is my foundation. And He's the only person I rely on. He's the only person that I need. He's the only person I serve. That's it. Other than my clients, obviously, I serve my clients as much as possible. I serve the people that I'm helping as much as possible. Actually, no. Damn. I said that the wrong way. God is not the only person I serve. What I meant to say is I serve God and I also serve everyone else, not just my clients. I serve my clients, I serve my family, I serve my brother, I serve my cousins. Like, I try to serve everybody as much as possible and bring them up as much as possible and elevate them as much as possible. But that comes with me elevating myself first. That comes with me humbling myself first. That comes with me being lonely first. And that is what I meant to say. I don't only serve my clients. Like, no, bro. You're supposed to serve everyone. It doesn't matter. You're supposed to serve without expecting anything in return. You're supposed to be lonely and humble yourself and make it all the way to the bottom. Just doing it for the internal growth. You just do it because you understand there's no other option. And that's what I realized. There's generally no other option for me. I'm too passionate about this. I put too much work into this. I sacrifice too much into this for me to have a backup plan. For me to think there's something else. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. I've been focused too much. And I've just had laser focus on one task, one goal, one small step every single day. And that's what I've been doing for the past 6 months. That's what I've been doing for the past 6 months. And 6 months from now, you guys are going to be able to look back on this video and you're going to understand none of this was an accident. None of this was an accident. The hundreds of lives I've changed was not an accident. It was the result of me calculating every single move, every single step, journaling every single night and every single morning. 5 things that I'm proud of the day before and 5 things I want to work on. I do this on a long enough time frame. Guess what? It results in me just getting better and better and getting closer to maxing out my potential as much as possible. But this is why the title of this video is 90. This is what holds back 99% of people, and it's loneliness, because I was so afraid of being lonely that I didn't want to do the things that I'm doing today. I didn't want to wake up early. I didn't want to read the word. I didn't want to, conquer my destructive habits. I didn't want to separate myself from the crowd. I didn't want to be uncomfortable. And it was because I was afraid of being lonely. I was afraid of being lonely, so I would watch fucking anime and TV shows every single day instead of sitting in my thoughts and asking myself, what do I truly want? Like, what do I truly want? Like, most people don't even understand what they truly want. They're like, oh, I want a better physique. But why do you want the better physique? Oh, so I could look better and have abs. But why do you want to look better and have abs? And then they're thinking about it and they're like, damn. Because if I look better and have abs, it's gonna lead to me having more confidence, and then me having more confidence, it's gonna lead to me attracting the right partners. It's gonna lead to me having more opportunities. It's gonna lead to me living a better life. It's gonna lead to me having more energy. It leads to all these certain things, right? So the truth is, you don't want the six-pack or the abs. What you want is the confidence, the self-belief, the high energy. You want the things that come with it. So most people just see the external thing, but they don't really look deeply. They don't look internally. And that's what I started doing. I started looking internally and started realizing I don't want this external shit. I don't want a nice car. I don't want to live in that certain place. I don't want any of that, right? I want to be someone who internally is disciplined, internally gives to others. I want to be the who deserves that. I want to be the who deserves all these certain things, because if you obtain something but don't deserve it, it's going to destroy you. I want to be the person who works so hard every single day and he goes to sleep satisfied because he's like, damn, I did enough today. I did as much as I can. Or not even as much as I can, because I'm truly never satisfied. But I go to bed knowing like, damn, I did this, I did that, and I'm glad I did this, but at the end of the day, I still know I could do more. I still know there are still things I can improve on, right? It's like I'm always grateful, but never satisfied at the same exact time. I always understand I could do more. I could deliver more. I could give more. I could sacrifice more. And the people who lose the most, the people who just don't, the people who are always complaining, the people who don't like the life that they live, they don't give anything to the world. Bro, if you do not give anything, what do you expect to receive, bro? If you are not changing lives, if you are not sacrificing, if you're not giving as much as possible, bro, you're not gonna receive anything. The world is just a mirror. It gives you exactly what you give it, right? And the people who genuinely lose in life, it's because they expect so much, but give so little. And what I'm doing now is I'm giving so much and I expect little. I don't want to receive a lot. I want to receive as little as possible, because that's going to teach me. That is going to teach me so much. That is going to teach me so much by putting in so much work, by not expecting anything. And I think that's what we're called to do. We're called to be selfless, right? We're called to be selfless. In the Bible, I was reading, I believe it was in Ephesians, and it was talking about how the value of the value of when you forgive your enemies even though they hate you. It is easy to forgive somebody. I don't think that's what it was. It was like, it's easy to give. It's easy to give to others when they're giving back to you, but the value comes from it when you give to others not wanting anything back and not expecting anything back wholeheartedly. Like wholeheartedly giving to others even though they give nothing to you. That's where the value comes, and that's what God sees. God sees when you sacrifice and give to others even though you don't want anything in return nor expect anything in return. And I was reading that in the Bible, and the Bible has taught me so many things that have honestly just made me a better person. It has made me such a better person, and it's compound interested in me learning so much, me getting closer to God, me just becoming a better person, right? So to become a better person, you need to elevate yourself. You need to elevate your mind, your spirituality, and your physical body. Wait, your mind, your your mind, your body, and your soul, right? And these things are all tied, right? Being in shape also gets me closer to, actually, I wouldn't say being in shape gets me closer to God, but I would say that being in shape teaches me certain principles that are very important with my relationship with God. So being in shape teaches me discipline. It teaches me going against my feelings. It teaches me it just teaches me discipline, going against my feelings. And then when I do that, it also translates with my relationship with God. They say how you do one thing is how you do everything for a reason. So when I do that and I prioritize my health that way, right, it also translates with me being more disciplined with my relationship with God, because that takes discipline. Rejecting your flesh takes discipline, right? And that is where the value that's where the value from it comes from. You know what I mean? But guys, I believe I went over everything in the video. It's just go against conquer your loneliness. Conquer your loneliness, or else your loneliness is gonna conquer you. But I feel like I talked about so many different things, but at the end of the day, I just hope that, you know, somebody watches this video and it genuinely allows them to maybe shift their perspective. Or I hope that one of you guys who watch this video learned something new, or you're actually able to implement what I'm talking about. Because listening without implementing it is pointless. You know what I mean? You actually have to live by it, though. You actually have to give so much. You actually have to be more lonely. You actually have to be okay with being by yourself. Don't be that guy who's dating that girl, who's dragging him down, who's cheating on him, who doesn't respect him. And don't be that guy who's friends with people who are draining him, shitting on him, being negative. They're not helping him become better in any way, shape, or form. It's like, there's no point in you being around those type of people. And that's why it's so valuable of being okay with being by yourself. That is why it's so valuable. Like me now, I have very few people I spend time with, very few people that I surround myself with, and these are all people that I love wholeheartedly. These are all people that we push ourselves to become better. These are all people who I want to see win and they want to see me win. And there's no ego, there's no jealousy, there's none of that. You know what I mean? We just generally push ourselves to become better. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And we all share the same values, the same principles, right? Having a relationship with God, right? Working hard, sacrificing yourself, giving as much. It's like all the same principles, and we're all like-minded, right? And that is the most valuable thing. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for just supporting. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for making it this far. Thank you guys for, you know, for everything. You know what I mean? Because the number one reason why I'm doing this is so that, first of all, I can document my journey, where my headspace is at, where I'm coming from, and also so that while I'm documenting my journey, I can also help somebody else to bring out a certain side of them that they didn't even know they had, because that's what other creators have done for me. Other creators have opened my brain to things that I didn't even know about, and it's changed my perspective. And you know, even though I might have been lonely in real life, but then I would watch these people, I'm like, damn, like they would open up my eyes, and it genuinely felt like it felt like they were there talking to me. They were speaking to me, because they were generally speaking directly to the situation that I was in, that I needed to hear. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So hopefully, even if it's just 1, 2, 3 people, it's worth it. Even if I can help out a few people, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Because I'm not here to make this brain rot content and just fucking, and just enter, like, I'm not here to just entertain people and just talk about bullshit, right? Because a lot of these guys, they're negatively affecting the world. And the biggest thing that I want to do is I just want to make people better. I just want to make people better. Like, I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds like, oh, you've heard this a million times. But truthfully, to make people better, you need to make yourself better first. You need to humble yourself first. But yeah. But boys, I'm working on something special on Max Out Fitness Coaching. I'm just making my program a lot better. I'm basically renovating the whole entire thing from scratch, and it's insane. It's coming out so much good. So good. There's so much value. There's so many, you know, just amazing systems that we're putting in place that actually allow my clients to seamlessly, you know, accomplish their goals, hit their targets, and see the results that they want to see in the right amount of time possible. You know what I mean? But if any of you guys aren't in the physical shape that you want to be in, and you want a proven system, you want somebody there to keep you accountable, you want, you know, results to be guaranteed, what we can do is that you can book a call with me in the description down below, and I'm basically gonna break down how exactly I can help you accomplish your fitness goals. But this is only for people who are genuinely serious. This is for people who want the best possible results possible. And yeah, if that sounds like something you're interested in, just go ahead and book a call with me down below, or you could DM me on IG and ask me a few questions, or break down your situation a little bit more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking with many of you guys. And yeah, if you have any comments, leave them down below. If you have any questions, comment down below, or you could just DM me on IG like I said. But yeah, let's get it. Probably I'm gonna be a lot more consistent with my YouTube videos. I'm gonna be uploading a lot more. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want me to touch up on, or talk about, or any questions you guys might have, just always let me know, and don't be afraid to reach out. But yeah, let's get it.